It's worth noting the public advocate slammed the then minister, saying that care and protection had breached the law 24 times, which had a serious and detrimental impact on children for whom the Director-General had responsibility.
No, I need them, thanks.
That's right, Madam Deputy Speaker, it breached the law 24 times. Unfortunately, at that time, the then minister's response was not to address the problems identified, it was to get her own lawyer to disagree with the findings.
But the previous public advocate who was bullied because she dared to question what was going on in the care and protection system. The previous public advocate who was bullied because she dared to say that she believed that what was going on in the care and protection system was a breach of the law, 24 breaches of the law that she identified. But she was bullied over that. And I think that's why the public advocate has even fewer resources now than the public advocate did in 2012, because the government didn't like hearing what they heard.
Excuse me. There is a growing body of evidence suggesting that parents with cognitive disabilities are subjected to a higher rate of child protection intervention and child removals than parents without disabilities. Allegations are that the high rates exist because of issues of prejudice, discriminatory attitudes and a severe lack of appropriate parenting supports. If this is the case, then the ability and capacity for external review to occur is even more paramount. For almost a decade, disability advocates have highlighted concerns regarding the disability or disproportionate removal of children from their care of their parents where one or more parents have a disability, particularly cognitive disability. And it's suggested that children and families who come in contact with the child protection system often share common marginalisation and demographic characteristics. Parents with cognitive disabilities are overrepresented in the child protection system and face significant barriers to equitable participation in the legal processes arising from this. We must be sure that decisions made about the placement of parents with disability are fair and unbiased.
And there are a number of occasions that I have personally dealt with, which I can't talk about in detail, but I can tell you that I have received briefings that, Mrs Dunn, don't you worry, this is all perfect, this has happened and that has happened. And when you get back to the family, you discover that those things haven't happened. I've had confidential briefings where I've had to call the departmental staff back in to account for why they told me one thing when it wasn't true. And that happened more than once on my watch. And I'm sure that it happened when Ms Lauder was in the position, and it will, and Ms Kickett's new to this position, but I will lay you quids that before her term as the Shadow Minister is out, she will find a circumstance where she will have to call back someone who has given her a confidential briefing and ask them to clarify. And then they will sit there shamefacedly, go all red in the face and say, oh, well, it wasn't really like that. That should never happen. That should never happen.